Recording McGroarty Art Center. Uh, recording, of course, we want to continue this recording. Um, Thanks, of course, and much appreciation goes to this year's featured artist and juror of the exhibition. She is a past exhibiting artist in both our 2018 and 2019 jury ceramic annuals, and of course, a two-time past award winner. So we're pleased to have her. Please welcome everybody, CJ Jilek.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for all the time that you've spent in lending your critical eye. Thanks for lending us the theme, the amazing theme, Botanical Abundance. Of course, your wonderful work that you have as featured artist on the site. And of course, in selecting the works that were submitted. Thanks.
Yes, it was a great honor to do it. So we had lots of good stuff come in. So it was exciting to see.
There you are. I just switched from my notes to your face. Wow, look at everybody. Looks like we have about 40 plus. That's great. So this year's show, just some quick stats. Let's see, we had about 50 plus entrants submitting over 100 ceramic works from all over the continental United States. What has been assembled here from the jury selections are roughly 70 plus works represented by 39 artists and a wide number of states. 19 states, I think, were represented from the United States, from as far south as Florida, north to New York and Washington State, all the way down, of course, to California. Hopefully you all get a chance to peruse all the work and maybe even make a purchase. Of course, we're gonna talk a little bit about CJ, her background and her work. She's had quite a bit of extensional amount of traveling. Her ceramic art has taken her many places around the globe. I know, just reading her bio, she's taught in Australia, South Korea, and workshops in Northern California. And we'll hear maybe a little bit about what she's doing currently in her work and maybe where her next travels are. What has been assembled here for you guys in her selections? There's 70 plus works represented by 39 artists from 19 states, okay? Before we get to the awards, there might be a little bit of chance for some Q&A. I'll be monitoring the chat. If anybody has a question for CJ before we get to the awards presentation, I'll maybe take a look at that. But anyway, do you have anything you would like to say, CJ? Let me see, bring you back up. Hi.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, it was a great show to jury. There was a lot of variety in the work, and that's what I wanted to see with the chosen theme. You know, botanicals inspire so many people in so many ways, and it can inspire both functional ceramic artists to sculptors and any type of direction in ceramics, right? So I was hoping that it would be a very eclectic and exciting show for that reason. And you guys didn't let me down. There were so many good pieces that were in the show, which were exciting to see. So if we, I might just go ahead and flip through the show a little bit and maybe talk about some of the exciting stuff that I saw.
Sounds good.
I'm just gonna pop into the show and then I'll share my screen.
I was very curious, and when we were developing the theme, I was very curious about kind of how people might interpret this theme, botanical abundance. And I was very surprised by the submissions, a wide variety of interpretations of botanical abundance, everything from literal flowers on surfaces and some very abstract interpretations of botany.
Yes,
Very
I
pleasing.
love some of the abstract pieces that we got. And in a way, we have a few pieces here that worked out really well being on the online format, with some pieces that integrate photography in with the ceramic work. We have pieces that are mixed media, incorporating graphite and all different types of materials in them, like Annie Campbell's work. And we've got some pieces that are very functional, even photographed right out in the garden with the plants planted in them. So many exciting pieces. We've got, you know, heavy surface detail with decals and lusters. We have artists that are kind of coming up with their own visual language when it comes to their form and their inspiration for biomorphic forms. A lot of rich surface in this show. We have a few pieces that would have, you know, had we tried to install them in the gallery in person, such as Marianne McGrath's piece, that would have been a challenge to install an entire telephone pole covered in ceramic work. So it was great to have it here.
Yeah, that was one plus of this virtual exhibition. You know, usually every year it's a enlisting of a large number of great volunteer students who help put together the show, heavy lifting of the pedestals, painting of the walls and everything. Boy, that was one task I wasn't looking forward to, and we avoided this year. But of course, it was a set of different circumstances and a task that was new and very rewarding, as I could see.
Yes. So yeah, so we just had, you know, fabulous work here, you know, with the sculptural elements, the development of surfaces. We've got a couple that are, you know, heavy slip work. We have some colored clay where people are actually coloring the clay and building the forms from that. Lots of underglaze work and imagery. Just all kinds of exciting stuff through here. So I hope you guys will dive in and really dig into each artist and what they have going on in their work. There's so much with texture and detail. It's super exciting. So that was just a quick buzz through the show. And what would you like to talk about next, Brian?
Oh, geez. You know, we were talking about before the Zoom meeting how you've been several places. Your work has taken you around the world. Maybe you want to talk to the people about what your current activities are, what's on the horizon, if you're going to be traveling anywhere. Recently, I know you mentioned Indonesia, I think. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so before the pandemic, I normally throughout the school year teach for 3 to 4 different colleges in the area, and that's going to continue. And then in the summers, I try to jam in as many workshops as I can teach around the world. So in 2019, I just had the privilege of going and teaching for Gaia Ceramics in Bali in Indonesia. And that was an exciting workshop to do, such a beautiful location and facility. And I was scheduled to go up to Canada, so I've got to try and get that workshop rescheduled now that things are opening back up again. And I'm talking about doing another tour through Australia again as well. So that's kind of in the works for 2022 or 2023. So, and another show that I'm working on curating, if we can get it approved, we'll see how it goes, but I'm hoping to put together a show for NCECA next year, because NCECA is going to be in Sacramento, close to home for those of you here in California. So hopefully I'll have an exhibition for everybody to drop into up there as well.
Excellent. What is NCECA for those of us who don't know?
Oh, NCECA is, what is it, the National Council for the Education of the Ceramic Arts. It's really long, but it's educators in ceramics. And if you've not had the chance to go, it's held in a different state. each year, and it's an opportunity to see a new part of our country. And whatever city it's in usually hosts, you know, about 100 different exhibitions that you can go and see a lot of work. They have all the local vendors there for all ceramic tools and equipment, and lectures and demonstrations, and you know, it can be pretty fun. And we all get out of our studio for a long weekend.
Yes, I've been to NCECA a few times. The closest it's gotten to LA, I think, is San Diego. The last 2 times it was in San Diego, I definitely made a trip down there to attend the conference.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is, and it's been a long time since it's been in California, so we're lucky that it's coming our way and it's going to be so close to home.
That's true. There's a question I usually like to ask a lot of fellow ceramic artists, and I know you grew up in Southern Illinois, and went to school there. I'm curious, can you tell us a little bit about your first experience with clay and ceramics? What attracted you to this medium? How did it all begin?
Well, ironically, I was not going to school for ceramics. I started off in a junior college in Northern Illinois, just outside of Chicago. And I was in the 2-dimensional arts, and I decided I was actually going to go to my 4-year college to get an art history degree. And in order to get that degree, I had to take ceramics as an elective. And I started taking the class and started off with pinch pots. And I thought, man, this is the most horrible class I've ever taken in my life. But as I continued and I persevered, by the time we got to slabs, I'd fallen in love. And by the end of that class, I changed my major to ceramics. And I've been doing ceramics ever since, which is between 25 and 30 years now. And you know, was really lucky to fall in love when I did, and then ended up trying to make ceramics as nomadic as possible. So from graduating from Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, then I popped over to Northern California, and I had a wood fire career for about 15 years where I made architectural slab vessels and wood fired them. And then I decided it was time to go back to grad school, and I completely flipped my work, because to get the most out of grad school, I really thought I would be better served to really have to investigate material and glaze and really, you know, switch it up. So I did, and I dropped from wood fire all the way down to low fire, and then came back up to about cone 6 for my work. And as you can see, have gone sculptural, and with a whole lot of surface and color and about everything that's opposite of wood fire.
Absolutely. Your work is so dynamic and so luscious. And of course, the forms, the theme, it's very erotic, both genders are represented in a lot of your work. The colors are so vibrant and just really amazing. I often tell my students how to make a sculptural or ceramic work dynamic. I tell them, get it off the ground, put it in the air, make sure a small percentage of the actual object is touching the ground. And your work is so dynamic in that respect. I mean, very, very ornate, very, very beautiful. And your textures, your surfaces, very beautiful, very luscious. Excellent work.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I really do want the work to be a reward for the viewer. I want there to be enough dynamic form that it catches their eye from far away. But then I really want the viewer that comes up close to have, just that reward, that they took the time to come up and they get to see and witness all of what's going on the surface. So yeah, that's what I find exciting about the current ceramic work, is just that opportunity to have that juxtaposition between what someone's going to see from far away and what someone's going to be rewarded with up close.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your work with our members of the McGroarty Art Center and our students. It's just really amazing. And of course, now with a much larger audience. Really grateful to you and your work. Pleasure to have you. So thanks again for lending your work and your critical eye in selecting the works in the exhibition. So,
It's always a pleasure to be a part of the events at the McGroarty Art Center. For any of you who's attended an event before, the historical building that Brian spoke of earlier is just the best venue for events. And normally we would be out on a summer night on the patio. There'd be live music and food, and it's just wonderful. So after the pandemic, if you ever get the chance to come and visit it and come to one of the ceramic openings, it's definitely something to put on your list.
yes, we do put on quite a party at the McGroarty art openings. Great jazz, great food, drink, and great art. So I'm looking at the chat. I don't really see too many questions. So I think maybe Leanne will verify that. Yeah, no real questions.
No questions so far.
I'm sorry?
Oh, no questions so far.
So maybe one thing we could do is we could give out the awards, and we could open it up to if people have questions for the award winners as well. That might
like
be
a
a fun
possible
thing
idea.
if people are here.
Okay, I think that would be a good idea. So we have a total of 7 awards exceeding $1,000 to hand out. And of course, congratulations to the winners. I'm sorry. So let me just bring up the document. I guess we'll get right to it. I think that's no questions, because I think everybody's anxious to get who won, right? They want to know. So let's see, where is that document? I have it here. Let's see. Would you like to start off with honorable mention number 1, CJ?
All right. So we would like to give this award to, drum roll. We don't have our drum kit here. Normally there's someone to do a drum roll. Thomas Harris. And I'm going to go ahead and screen share the piece so everyone can see.
Yes, this piece is entitled Mise en Abime Ikibana, I think, if I'm pronouncing the title correctly, Mise en Abime Ikibana by Thomas Harris. It is wheel thrown, altered ceramic form, creating layers with underglazes and sanded.
So yeah, I just felt this one was really eye-catching. It had beautiful colors and layers of information. So I liked the radial symmetry of it as well, and how well nested it was. It really felt like something that was, you know, just starting to reveal itself. So I was excited when we saw this one. Thank you so much for entering, Thomas.
Yes. And Thomas is working all the way in Bloomington, Indiana, where he sent me his work from. Yeah, this pandemic, you know, has made it difficult for a lot of artists. So I appreciate everybody who's been able to create work over the last year. So great piece. This definitely reminded me of a set of nesting bowls, a creative way of arranging nesting bowls. But upon closer inspection, it's more of a ceramic form. Very creative.
All right, I am ready with the next image.
And I guess I'll announce that one.
Okay.
So honorable mention number 2 goes to Juliana Brand for her piece entitled Sunset in the Forest.
So this artist has created this throne form with this extension on the base down below, which is carved out, and then has this elaborate decorative underglaze imagery that she has painted over the top of it. So I think it has a beautiful radiance about it, and definitely caught the eye when jurying the work. So thank you very much for entering that.
Yes, this piece, upon closer inspection, I noticed this is a great blend of you know, surface into form, because as you see at the bottom, it's carved, and then it works its way up, and it then becomes purely surface imagery. So it's really cool. I like the dried forest. I guess it looks like a dried tree. Very cool.
And where was this piece from again, Brian?
This artist comes from Cuba, Missouri.
Oh, all right.
This is a town in Missouri named Cuba.
Great.
Thanks for sending that in, and congratulations.
Okay, so honorable mention number 3. We have this award going to Nikki Lewis for her leaf basket. So here we have a large oval form with baskets, or with handles, so lovely basket form. And then this really well done layering of slips and underglazes. So I really enjoyed the layers of information provided on this piece. And I could just imagine this piece with a huge bouquet of some type of flowers coming out of it. So I thought that, you know, between the engineering of the form and the colorful building of layers of information on the surface, that this piece was very well done, very well done. So that, oh, and there's sgraffito on this piece too. So it's not just all painted on, it's painted with paper resist and carved back through. So there's a lot happening on this piece.
Very dynamic, very cool work. And Nikki is a fairly local artist coming to us from Altadena, California. So very close.
All right, good.
If I remember correctly, I think Nikki has been in one of our invitational exhibitions in the past, I believe. So congratulations to Nikki. Excellent work.
Give me just a second to pull up the next one.
And that'll be my turn, I guess.
Yep.
So the last of our 4 honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 4 goes to Megan Gates for a piece entitled Equilibrium.
So that's the one here on the right. It's kind of giving us a glimpse of all of her pieces, but it's the image on the right for Equilibrium. And, you know, this is one of the sculptural pieces that was really using surface and form, and kind of, she builds her own language with all these different forms. Her work is very recognizable with the way she creates her composition and puts the contrast in between surfaces and structural elements. And where does Megan come from?
Let's see, I think Megan comes all the way from Pensacola, Florida. Wow. Excellent. Congratulations, Megan. Excellent. I really like this work. This is a really dynamic piece. I love the 2 different forms colliding. One almost like a sea anemone on the bottom, and the other one kind of like a, I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah. It has good animation to it, as well as such, you know, dynamic negative space that really pulls you into wanting to see what's happening in there.
Yes, this one definitely draws you in. I like the asymmetricality of it too. This one looks like very dynamic from all different angles, even though we're just getting this one view in the photograph here. Very cool. And this is wheel thrown and coil built biomorphic ceramic sculpture. Congratulations, Megan.
Okay, so our next award, we are going to now move into our 3rd place award. And I'm pulling that up. So 3rd place is going to go to Sally Ann Stahl. So I found this piece really interesting with the building up of the slip layers, with the high contrast between the iron-rich clay body and the layered slips over the surfaces, and really being able to see the richness of that, and the building up of each flower petal. I thought that was really beautiful. And this is one that I'd love to see in person, because I'd love to also see what's happening with these slip flowers around the outside as well. I wanted another angle of this one while I was jurying, because I think this piece just has so much more to offer if we were seeing it in person.
Definitely, I agree. This one looks really cool. Yes, inside and out. Um, so this piece is entitled, I don't know if you mentioned, Poison at Court, Poppy Platter. Very cool. I love the surface treatment.
Yeah.
And Sally Ann Stahl is another local artist from Los Angeles, California.
Oh, great. Very good. Yes, very good movement. You know, it really keeps the eye moving. So congratulations for third place.
Moving on to our second place winner. This artist comes all the way from Edinburgh, PA. Sarah Catapano, I believe I'm pronouncing that. Sarah Catapano for a piece entitled Dicept. And this is a very, very interesting organic looking piece. I think this one is almost an epitome of biomorphic form, some kind of growth for sure. Two entities grow from one foundation is the description.
Yes,
so congratulations.
And it's
Sarah
great. Yeah, we've got three different images of it, which we really need because there's so much happening on this piece. And, you know, I almost have a visceral reaction to it when I see what looks like, you know, skin stretching or, you know, things growing, and, you know, there's just so much happening. So I find the surfaces on this really intriguing. And I've seen Sarah's work in a couple other exhibitions as well, and she's just, well, just to use the word blossom because it's a botanical abundance show, she's really blossoming over the last few years. And I really like this piece. I love the subtleties and I love what's just in your face about it. So it's a really nice balance of those two things.
This is amazing. I mean, looking at this piece, if I, you know, you wouldn't really know for sure that this was a ceramic object. I mean, it looks like it could be fabric, you know, draped over a form. I mean, there's so much going on. It is really full of growth and energy.
Yeah, and if some people aren't familiar with it, this term here for flocking, some of the elements on this piece are actually flocked to make it fuzzy. So there are multiple surfaces here. So this is one of those pieces, you know, like I say in my work, you really get that reward when you get to, you know, see it in person and see it up close, because the surface really does change, that contrast between the soft flocking and the rigid ceramic. She even has luster on here. So there's just a little bit of everything for everyone.
Wow. This is a piece I would definitely love to see in our gallery space. And so that's one unfortunate reality of this virtual exhibition, but very interesting piece. This, you know, the color, that green is so, you know, vibrant and, you know, looks like flora and fauna.
Very dynamic, very dynamic.
Okay, I'll let you do the honors on the final award to hand out this evening.
All right, so we have the best of show, and I found the reuse and repurpose of this sculpture to be exciting, the mixed media. Another form I would love to be in a room with. So this is Marianne McGrath with a piece titled Overgrowth. And I referenced this earlier in the night about, you know, it would have been so difficult to install an entire telephone pole in our gallery. But it would be a fun one to be in the room with as well, because I think just that physical presence of that piece would be really wonderful. And I really just like that, that wrapping and engulfing of the botanical around that repurposed form. So I found it to be really interesting. I like the monochromatic, it's kind of stark in a way in its monochromatic presentation. And I find that that pulls me in even more, just really wanting to see what's happening there. So I found this to be an exciting piece. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes, I guess this virtual exhibition has expanded the walls of our gallery, you know, so we can accommodate a work like this in our exhibition, whereas it might have been a challenge in the past. This is definitely a very extravagant, very amazing work. Another one that I would definitely love to see in person. But amazing work and congratulations.
And where is Marianne from?
Marianne McGrath is another fairly local artist, Ventura, California.
Oh, great.
So congratulations to Marianne McGrath, our Best of Show award winner.
Congratulations to everybody. Thank you so much for entering. And I'm so happy to see how many of you are here. And it'll be nice to have a little conversation and meet some of you even.
It would be. If anybody wants to pose a question or make a statement, it'd be nice to hear from some of our award winners in chat. We'll be monitoring. But thank you all the artists who attended the exhibition. We'll give a little bit of time, and if anybody wants to ask a question, either of CJ or maybe even pose a question to one of the award winners or any artist in the show that you've seen. Oh, look at that cup. Can you hold up that cup? That's one of the cups that anybody could purchase in the exhibition. Look at that cup, a one-of-a-kind original from CJ. Very nice. Yes, if you haven't been to CJ's page, she has jewelry as well on the site. She does amazing jewelry as well as functional work. You also have some of your wood-fired works, I believe, right?
Yeah, so what we did for my page on the website was we did a little bit of a retrospective because not everybody knows both sides of my personality. And the new work that I made for this show actually starts to merge those two sides of my personality. Because my wood fire work had always been these kind of architectural slab built forms, functional vessels. And so I was doing a demo for one of my classes and I got inspired. So I went back to some of that architectural slab building and I created some flower bricks. But then I started putting my atomic colorful glaze surfaces on instead of the wood fire. So it's the first transition of kind of merging those two bodies of work together. So you guys are the first to see it. So this is the first batch of them. And I love the engineering of ceramics. That's probably my favorite part. So I realized that I would really want to be able to clean a flower brick easily. So my flower brick has a removable lid so that you can clean it out. And it has a very long flange, so the lid will stay on when the flowers are really pushing and pulling and, you know, wilting and doing their thing. But you'll still be able to clean it in the end. So that was the new work.
This is very new work, from what I understand. Very new, fresh out of the kiln. We're glad to have that work as well featured on the website. People can purchase that work. So it's always nice when we can support our fellow artists, our students' work. That was one of the challenges that we worked out in this exhibition, was how we're going to deal with in a national exhibition in case somebody wants to buy something and they live in I don't know, Massachusetts, and they want to purchase a piece at the inner site. So I'm glad that was one of the things that we worked out. So we always strive to support our local artists, and we're glad that we can do that.
Oops, sorry, Brian.
I'm sorry?
I was about to say the same.
Good question in the chat.
I didn't see.
Yeah, people would like to hear from the award winners, and we do have a couple here. So they would like to know what inspired the award winners' work. And so we might go through and ask people who are here to talk about that.
Do you want to start with Marianne, CJ? Because I think I have to unmute them.
Okay, yes, let's start with Marianne.
If she wants to. I'm going to mute you, Marianne. Let us know if you don't want to be put on the spot.
No, that's fine. Thank you so much.
CJ, would you like to bring up share screen of her work?
Yes. In fact, I still have it here, so I can do it quickly.
Great.
Okay, so again, Marianne was our Best of Show winner for Overgrowth, which is the telephone pole with growth.
Thank you so much. I have to say that I honestly aside from the theme and the juror, I decided to apply because of the location. It's just an hour away, and I was like, oh, I could actually install this and make it work. And when I saw it was going virtual, I did take a slight sigh of relief, because it was nice to have it up like that. So thank you. I wasn't expecting to speak tonight. My work, I'm here in Ventura County. I was born and raised in Oxnard, and I grew up on a farm that is now a shopping mall. And I was gone for almost 20 years and came back when I joined the faculty at Cal State Channel Islands in Camarillo. And so my work recently has been kind of about this struggle between the natural and the man-made. And I have a thing for repetition, as you can see. I have a thing for process and material metaphor in and of itself. And I wish my brain would allow me to make beautiful singular objects like so many artists in this show, and yourself, CJ. For some reason, this is how I go. I was in my final semester of a biology degree in Boulder when I had to take a sculpture class. And I'm still one physics class short of that biology degree. I completely changed direction as soon as I took a clay class. So thank you. I hope that answered the question.
That's great.
Thank you. It's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And of course, just as a bit of information, you guys can all see, if you want more information about any of the artists in the show, their bios are available. You can click on the bio next to the work and on the pages on the site. Many of the artists in the show have their bios, and you can learn more about the work and their background.
So let's see, the next artist up that I see on my screen is Thomas Harris. Thomas, would you like to speak about your work?
Yeah, sure. I know that when I was in grad school, I was, for whatever reason, concerned about sort of getting out of the round, being somebody who was sort of versed in wheel throwing. And so I just started, I guess we call it altering ceramics. And I think if you see in my work, you see a lot of spiraling and motion. And I think that what happens is, just through repetition, I'm finding the patterns that appeal to my visual aesthetic. And then after the fact, I feel like then I'm starting to identify some of those concepts that seem to come back time and again. So this is called mise en abîme. And that's probably, I spent a couple of years in Paris studying. And so language is a big thing when you go to a country and you don't speak it. So really, mise en abîme is, I'm going to just say, translates as into the abyss. It's that idea of taking a camera and pointing it at a screen and seeing it go spiral within spiral within spiral. So that's what that's a philosophical term that the French use. And I realized that there are other aspects that fit hand in glove with the things that I was doing sort of intuitively. The golden mean, Fibonacci sequence. So those are the things, those are the thought processes that came out of the intuition of making the pieces, because the pieces are just made at the wheel as a form of contemplation. Really, you have all this time to observe what you're doing, especially through repetition. So if I make one of these, I make 10 of them, and then I maybe look at how I would want to change them. Because, for example, in this piece, it's all thrown in one piece. So you can imagine a donut that's been thrown. It's got two bowls. And then there's a lot of decision making that goes on, and that affects how it actually looks. Am I going to cut it in 5s or 4s? And if I spiral them in the same direction or different directions, what kind of effect that makes? So they all become pieces of a puzzle that create a visual aesthetic.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. I think a lot of people are happy to know a little bit of information on how this piece came about structurally. So that's great. Thank you,
Excellent
Thomas.
work. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, sure. Thanks for telling me what you thought about, interpreting the work. That was really nice to hear.
Oh, good.
And
Good.
you're coming to us all the way from Bloomington, is it right?
That's right.
India? Awesome. Glad to have you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now for another award winner, I think we have Sally Ann Stahl in our chat. Would you like to talk tonight? Okay, I'm going to pull up Sally's work.
And for anybody who's interested, also the awards page is now, of course, public since we made the announcement. So you could look very closely at those awards recipients on the site as well.
Okay,
Hello.
here is Sally's work. Okay, go ahead.
This kind of I found this book written in 1940s about a woman did research on who was poisoned in Louis XIV's court. And then just it made me think like whenever there's a large gathering of people, and I think of families and Christmas and Thanksgiving, there's always somebody getting poisoned in one way or another. So this is a very large platter with my signature ribbon normally handles, but this is just the entire rim. And it's part of actually quite a few different place settings, and each place setting is on this theme. But each is different, representing who each person is within the dynamic of the family, and how they see themselves or how they place themselves within that dynamic. And it's always a question of who is getting poisoned and who is poisoning and whether it's intentional or not. And kind of doing that with the idea of flowers, of the idea of poison coming from the botanical world, and being slipped in secretly. So that's kind of where this platter and everything kind of came from. So, and I'm just so thrilled to have won, because I've been working on this slowly but surely over the last couple of years. So thank you so much.
And are you inspired? Is it, I'm slipping here on my name, so anyone else on the call can help me out. Is it Delftware? That's the building of the layers of the porcelain slip, the historic style.
Delftware's usually the blue and the white. I don't know. I mean, these are very tactile. They're very. Can you get me my teapot? Because I'm that person who only really uses her own tea. Like I don't know if you're on the. It's very tactile. It's very, you know, they're very raised, but because it's porcelain slip, where the thinner it is, how it shows through underneath. And then, of course, the red flower is very saturated to just be very striking.
Yeah. I think it worked out really well, and I really appreciate the transparency through those petals. So, yeah, good job.
Thank you.
If I can ask a question for my students, the red, how did you achieve the red?
Mason stain. It's just mason stain in slip, and it really comes down to the consistency of the slip. You know, there's just this sweet spot where it's not too hard, it's not too runny, it holds its shape, but it easily is painted, and allowing the whatever's underneath, because sometimes I often use colored slips underneath, so then you have those colors kind of shining through in just, you know, a very secretive way.
And it's Black Mountain Clay, so you're going to Cone 10?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. I did have my own studio for a bit, so I went to Cone 6. But yeah, I mean, you can do it. You know, it's just a matter of using a porcelain or porcelaneous body to make your slip.
Great.
Very nice work.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
a part of the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see. Unless they don't have their screen name up, I do not see Sarah on the call. Am I wrong? Is Sarah Capitano on the call?
I'm
I
looking.
cannot see
I
her.
think they're alphabetized. I'm not sure.
How about Megan Gates?
I think Megan may have been on earlier, but I don't see her now.
Okay.
And
Is Nikki still here?
Nikki was with us. Let's see.
I think Nikki was also on earlier, but I don't see her now.
Okay, how about
Okay.
Juliana Brand?
I don't think so. No.
All right, then I think we covered all the award winners that were present with us.
Yes. Well, it's been an amazing show, and it's for everybody's information. Of course, the show is going to be up for the month of June, all the way to the 26th, if I'm not mistaken. So sales, that is the extent of the sales will happen all the way till the end of this month, 26th. Of course, the show will still remain as archive on our website, so you'll be able to see it here ever after, all these splendid works. So definitely take your time and look through this site. And again, thank you, CJ. We really appreciate it. Thanks for being a friend of the McGroarty Art Center.
I
Pleased
love
to have
it.
you. Thanks to everybody for participating in this Zoom virtual opening. Glad to have you. Thanks to our award members and everybody who submitted. I guess
Thank you.
that is it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Well,
you.
looking forward, keep us in mind. Look out for the prospectus for the 2022 June